Hi guys, welcome back to another Matchbox Garage video. I'm Rob and today I shall be attempting to take this little Renault 5 from shabby to shiny. This one actually is not in terrible condition. As you can see, the paintwork there is pretty good, but it looks like it spent some of this life out in the garden, buried in a load of mud, and certainly that in itself has caused a lot of cleaning required on the inside of this one, but I'm going to go with a slight restoration plus or custom today, change up the colour a bit, and we're going to put some new wheels on this one, add a few little details. And the Renault 5, I've never actually owned a Renault 5. I did want to buy a GT Turbo probably about 15 years ago now, but lovely little cars from France. Bonjour. And with 2,000 likes, this one could be yours. But we'll drill down the centre of the post. There is just one on this car. And then remove that flange. And tap the hole. Please do remember to lubricate the end of your piece. You do not want to snap it. And I snapped it in the last video. So do as I say and not as I do. But anyway, we've got the little car here. As you can see, the base is just loose. I've already pre-drilled this one. We've got the opening rear hatch. The rear hatch is just in plastic. But I've had this casting. Actually, I've got, I think, 3 or 4 Renault 5s. And I've had them all for probably about a year. And I've just been waiting to actually restore it. And it just felt, the time today. But it reads underneath Matchbox Superfast number 21. Renault 5 TL, made in England, 1978. So, over 40 years old. And not knowing the kind of interior, because I couldn't see it, I assumed it was like an off-white. But actually, it's kind of like a nice caramel colour. That in itself, it's kind of led me to choose what colour I painted this car today. But, yes, a bit of an odd transition to the base there. My phone went off and it stopped the recording. But anyway, some 40-year-old hair build up in these wheels. Pretty gross, pretty gross. And then we've got these little rollover posts there, which are both holding in the window section and the rear hatch. At this point, I didn't know that they were rolled over, so just give it a little, see if I can pry it off there. It wouldn't go, so I'm just going to reach for my 4mm drill bit and just remove the flange. Not wanting to go too far, kind of go a little bit and then inspect, and it needs a little bit more. And there we are. You can see that I've had to kind of go down enough so that there's nothing holding the plastic in place. So opening up the hatch there, just very gently. Kind of just to get the screwdriver in there, and there we go. So thankfully we've got no damage on this window section. Like I say, it's covered in some kind of dirt or grime on the inside. But I'm going to clean that up shortly. As you can see, it's probably a lot of sand as well, I think. A mixture of mud and sand, perhaps. But we'll put the casting here into the foot-long hot dog jar. A little bit of a different angle today. I've actually put it into my filter. Turned it on. You can kind of see the steam coming out the top. And thumbs up. There was been a couple of suggestions of using my glove, but my left glove, but turning it inside out so I can use it for my right hand. I do have a set of gloves coming, but obviously what with the lockdown that we are experiencing at the moment, Mr. Postman, he's being a little bit slower than usual, which is fair enough. But yeah, going back to this filter, you can see the steam that's coming out of there, which is obviously filled with like caustic gases. And I do wear a face mask, but to further help, I thought to put it on this filter, it's going to go straight out the window. And although it may not be perfect for viewing, for my health and safety, I think this is what I'm going to have to do going forward. But yeah, you can see that steam there. You do not want to breathe that in. It's nasty stuff, so for it to go straight out the window, I think that's going to be the best. But anyway, with that doing its thing to one side, we've got the plastic pieces here. And yeah, why not put in the hatch as well. Give these a bit of a clean up, and that interior coming out as good as new. And I'm not going to be painting this today. And like I say, I use this as inspiration on what colour to actually paint it today. And I didn't want to stay with blue. I've painted a couple of recent cars blue, so I thought I needed to and wanted to do something different. And this little window section there, it's not in bad condition, to be fair. It's a little bit yellow. There's nothing I can do about that. And I've just picked up this new lamp doctor. I was talking to Danny, and I asked him what he used, and he doesn't actually use this brand, but he uses something for plastic polishing that's good for like headlight, kind of refreshing headlights as they go yellow and such. And this was one that I could get obviously local to the UK, and it was relatively cheap, so I thought I'd give it a try. And actually it turns out that yeah, it's pretty good. So giving you a little sample of this, and I do spend probably about 5 minutes in total. But yeah, nice bit of a shine on there already. And like I say, probably 5 or so minutes later, I've gone over it a few times, all 3 sides there. And I'm not going to be going with the Pledge Revive It today. I think that's pretty good as it is. So having flushed and rinsed under the tap the base here, a little bit of paint remaining, but probably around a 98.75% paint removal on that base. The main casting here, not as good, but still very decent. Probably around a 94.83%, I would say. You know, if you never agree with my percentages, if you think I'm the odd percentage here off, let me know down in the description, or down in the comments even. I'd like to hear your opinions on anything that I do. But as you can see here, the base is nice and polished up now, and I'm just going to cover this with the Pound Shop matte black. This car would have had matte black bumpers, plastic bumpers, and I think this looks perfect. It really does look the same. We'll be using the Tamiya Fine Surface Primer in white for the main casting, but look at that shine. Doesn't it look beautiful? Or magnifique. You didn't know I was fluent in French, did you? I'm not really. I just read one of those books once and learned a few words and a few phrases. But anyway, I haven't used this Tamiya Fine Surface Primer for a little while, and it was nice to use it again today. As you can see there, it looks very nice actually in white, but I'm going to be going with the Vallejo Premium Airbrush colour range. I don't have green, but a mix of blue and yellow of course makes green. And I thought with that kind of caramel interior, this would go beautifully. And I went with 2 coats of colour today, and I'll show you the first coat. This particular paint, I would say that it covers better over the black primer. You could almost get away with 1 coat over black primer, but with the white, certainly at least 2 coats, maybe 3 coats are required. But yeah, you can see that it really lays on really well, and this paint is great. So there you go. So it is now later in the day. This was the wheel choice that I was hoping to go with. It looked silly with them on. I really need to find a casting for those wheels to suit. But yeah, so we got another reminder of that window section. And of course the interior here. It's like a hearing aid beige, I think that is. And then now the green and a clear coat has dried. Look at that. Beautiful. So I'm going to add a few more details. Put it together off camera. But this is a reminder of what she looked like. And this is the result. So around the front, a little bit of chrome details in those headlights and side lights, and also on the Renault badge on the bonnet there. Coming around side, we got some wheels. I don't know whether these would be found on a Renault. I don't actually know where they're from. I'm assuming they're some kind of old American car, but to scale, they fit perfectly today. And I actually really like them. I think they suit perfectly. Around the back, a little bit of red in those rear lights, a little bit of chrome you can see there, just about on the number plate on the rear. But yeah, coming back around this side, what a beautiful, perfect, shiny green metallic paint. I actually don't mind the off yellow of that window section. It almost kind of, mixes into the vibe. But anyway, massive thanks to my patrons again. And thank you guys for watching. Remember, 2,000 likes, it could be yours. See you soon, guys.